Hello, welcome to our remote learning unit on Counting on Grace. There's the book, it's by Elizabeth Winthrop. Today is lesson 5, and we will be reading chapters 7 and chapters 8. When I'm done and you're done, please make sure you go into your Google Classroom assignment and complete the questions for the chapters. All right, here we go. Chapter 7 Arthur Speaks to Me. This is the day we get to quit 2 hours early. But first we shut the frames down for cleaning. All week long the lint floating around in the air comes to rest on the cotton, roving, and they stick together. Then the roving gets stubborn and won't feed properly onto the bobbins. That means by Saturday the ends are breaking on every machine. If you don't catch that first break and piece up by twisting the threads back together, sure thing there'll be another. It's a miracle only 2 ends broke after we doffed our first frame. On the second one, Mamere and Delia pieced up 12 between them. Every frame we doffed, it seemed more ends broke. Mamere has a hook she used to clean between the rollers. Up and down and round the spindle pins, that hook pokes and pulls out the balls of cotton that have gotten themselves messed up with the oil dripping down the gears. She throws the black squishy cotton balls on the floor for the sweeper boys to push away with their long-handled brooms. Delia is over cleaning the 2 frames she'll be starting up on Monday. I don't have a hook, so I poke my fingers in and around the secret little hiding places where it's too dangerous for them to go when the frame is running. In and out and in between I go, left hand and right, hunting for junk, snaking it out, flicking it away. It's a dirty job, but for once it's quiet in the spinning room, and you're not chasing bobbins. With nothing buzzing between you, you can talk to people easy like when you spy their face on the other side of the frame. Suddenly something snatches my smock and yanks it down. I jump back with a scream. It's Arthur, who reached under the frame. Stupid trick. Kids do it to tease each other all the time. We all know the machine can rip your clothes right off if you're not paying mind. I was just following you, he says. The frame's not even running. He's standing up now. I see one half of his face between the mess of spindles and gears, then the other. Why don't you go clean your own frames? He shrugs. It's more fun tormenting you, he says. He don't have too many friends, so I think this is his dumb way of getting back with me. I like this part, he says. So many places to fit my fingers. And I can see them poking through from his side. Arthur has thick fingers, better for cleaning than doffing. Papa will make me a hook next week, I say. Want one? He shrugs. Maybe. Let's try and touch, I say. It's hard to find the exact right place where we will connect. First his fingers are too high, and then mine are too far off to the side. It's like poking a needle through the back side of a shirt, searching for the hole in a button. In the end, it don't work anyway, because our fingers are too short. They just wave at each other in the dark space between the sides. Hello, I call. No talking, Grace, Mamere says from down the frame. Work to be done. I pull out a handful of gunked up cotton balls so she can see I'm working. Too bad about your book, I whisper to Arthur. He won't give it back. French Johnny don't like me. But I know where it is. How come? I just know where he keeps his things. I know lots more about the mill than Arthur does. He never pays any attention to nothing but his reading. I can get your book back, I say before I think. Will you do it? He asks. If you stop calling me Tattle. It wasn't me who told French Johnny where to find you. It was Madame Boucher. But he followed you down the path. If it wasn't for you, I'd be gone by now, across the border. I shrug and move up the next roller. I don't want to get his book back anyway. I don't even bother telling him how stupid he is about the borders between the states. You can't keep trying to be friends with a stubborn person like Arthur. Suddenly there's his face again, right across from me. Wonder what would happen if you put your fingers in here when the frames are running. He worms one chubby finger around the bottom of a spindle. Then he adds the second finger. There's no room to poke in a third. It would hurt you bad, I say. It would gobble up your whole arm. Bet it would just hurt your fingers, maybe your hand a little. Why do that? I ask. That would be stupid. Maybe, maybe not. Arthur's a strange one. I move again. My hands are full of grease now. The machines smell like a herd of old goats. I want to pinch my nose so I can get away from that smell, but then my fingers would carry the grease to my face. Wish there had been more to eat at dinner time. My stomach is jumping all over itself. All right, Arthur says. I'll stop. You'll stop what? I'll stop calling you names if you get my book back. Why'd I promise that? I don't want to put myself on the wrong side of French Johnny, but I never go back on my word. One more thing, I say. I want to know what's happening to the soldier in the story. Deal. Deal. I swallow hard. How am I going to do this? Chapter 8. French Johnny and Miss Leslie. Soon as the bell rings, I scoot down to the far end of the frame, out of sight of my mother. She's busy anyway, helping Delia get her frames set for Monday morning. The new spinners are given the oldest frames in the room, the ones that make them the most trouble, and they don't have doffers working for them. Delia will be running her legs off to keep up. I stand over by the wall, out of sight while the women stream past, hurrying toward the door. Most of the doffers are gone already. Nobody wants to hang around the mill on a Saturday afternoon. Arthur sees me hiding, but he don't let on. Where's Grace? My mother asks him. She went out, he says. Good girl, my mare says. She's picking up supplies from the store. My mother tucked a list in my pocket this morning. It is still there under my handkerchief. Once they pass out of sight, the spinning room goes quiet. I didn't see French Johnny leave, but I don't hear him anywhere around. I skip along the back of the frames looking for him, down each row, but no sign. He must be talking to Mr. Wilson in his office on the floor below. I sneak down to French Johnny's corner. His apron is hanging on a hook, which means he's probably left. If I don't hurry up and get out, they'll lock the gates on me. Last place I want to spend the night is the spinning room, where I'm going to be living every waking hour from this day forward. That's the way Pierre Alain talks when he prays. There it is, sitting right up on the windowsill. French Johnny is no reader, so he's got no reason to take it home with him. My hand closes around the book. I can see the place where Arthur folded the corner with an oily finger just before French Johnny took it away. He's almost halfway through. I skip back to the last line I ever read in school, part about the great affairs of the earth. I start reading again. My eyes jump right over the big words because stopping to puzzle on them makes you miss out on the story. The boy dreamed of battles, but he never really thought he'd be fighting himself. I dreamed of the mill, too. I never thought it would come so quick. Suddenly, I feel a step behind me, and French Johnny's hand comes down heavy on my shoulder. Stupid me. I forgot how quickly and quietly he can move. I try to twist away, but he holds me fast. What are you doing, girl? Getting Arthur's book for him. Looks like you was reading it. I can read as good as him. Well, almost. Who says I want to give... Oh, who says I want to give that boy his book? He won't read in the mill again. He told me. It's only a little lie. I'm not sure of anything with him, or you either. You don't come near my office without permission. You're here? I nod. Some office, I think. You sing as good as your mother? Now, what kind of question is that? No. No, sir. No, sir. But you know how to dance. Everybody dances, I say. Not in the mill, they don't. I seen Delia training you, and those feet of yours don't ever stop. First Miss Leslie, then Delia, now French Johnny. Don't people got better things to do than watch my feet? I ask. He bursts out laughing. You're a funny one. Go on, take the boy's book, he says, and squeezes my shoulder one more time with those big fingers of his. He's strong enough to crunch my bones in two if he had a mind, but I think he's trying to be nice. He's just a big, clumsy bear of a man. As soon as he lets go, I hug the book against my chest and run as fast as I can. You tell that boy he better not bring that book in here again, he shouts, but I twist down the stairs and across the yard without answering him. Arthur is waiting for me on the other side of the gates. They'll be locking up soon, he calls. Did you get it? I hold it up to show him, but I keep running, my bare feet picking their way as best they can between the stones. Give it here, he cries, starting up after me. Come and get it, I yell back over my shoulder. I don't know why I'm fooling him, but suddenly I want the feel of the wind blowing past me. I want to brush away the weight of French Johnny's hand on my shoulder, and I want to get in all the running I can now I got the chance. Arthur don't run as well as I do. He don't get much practice at it. I lead him down along the road to the railroad tracks, dodging a wagon delivering flour to the store and a crowd of younger kids. They turn right around and start chasing me too. My feet are getting tired, but I'm not letting them catch me now. In one jump, I'm across the southbound tracks, and then I stop because the shake and rattle is coming up through my feet first, and then the hot metal breath of the engine is blowing on me and Arthur shouting behind to go. Go, and I jump over the second set of tracks. The sudden whistling screech of the train knocks me off my feet and down the gravelly slope on the other side. Then, just as quick as it seems, the train is rattling away again, and they're all around me, Arthur and the kids. Is she hurt? Someone calls in a low voice from the back of the crowd. I think she's dead, says someone else. I could be, I guess. Just like Mr. Dupree's brother, says Dougie. He leans in. His nasty mouth is so close his spit sprays my cheek. You dead? I'm not. My heart is hammering inside. I pretend to be taking my time while they all stand in the huddle, looking for blood. Then with no warning, I roll away and take off again because I don't want them to see how scared I am and how close it was. I hear their cries right behind. They are spitting mad now, but somehow my legs keep on carrying me. I duck down the side path by the school. The book is still high in the air above my head when somebody snatches it out of my hand. My feet shoot forward and I slide down on my backside. I get up slowly, rubbing the place on my leg where a sharp rock poked itself through my smock. Where do you think you're going with this? Asks Miss Leslie. She is standing on the front porch of the school, leafing through the book as if she just found it on the railing. I don't answer. I'm still catching my breath, waiting for my heart to stop making such a racket. Can it be that Miss Grace has decided to be a reader instead of a mill rat? It's mine, Arthur cries. Grace stole it from me. I did not, I yell. I stole it back for you. Arthur got caught reading in the mill. Besides, it's not your book anyway. It belongs to the school. In truth, it belongs to me, says Miss Leslie, still flipping the pages. Grace almost got hit by the train, Norma says. The others are gathered around now, half of them leaning over to catch their breath. Is that so, Grace? Miss Leslie is staring at me now, the book slack in her hands. I shrug. I knew it was coming. Her eyes dig into me, so I have to look down quicker than I want to. The rest of the kids start slinking away. Nobody wants to tangle with the teacher more than they have to. That leaves me and Arthur glaring at each other. Funny, I almost got killed by a train, but he's the one who's still panting. Those trains are dangerous, Grace, and I sorry. Those trains are dangerous, Grace, and I told you not to take chances reading in the mill, she says to Arthur. I only do it during the breaks. Having the book in there distracts you, she says. You have to pay attention to your work. He shrugs. When have they done all this talking together, I wonder. And how are you, Grace? I'm fine, I say, but my voice sounds too loud for some reason. Delia's moved to her own frames. Day after tomorrow. You on learner's pay for a month? 2 weeks, maybe more, depending. Miss Leslie knows more about the mill than she lets on. And I wonder what your mother used for papers. Bought them, I expect. She did not, I shout. We had. My voice runs out. I don't want to tell her about the sister who died 14 years ago. Besides, Arthur is standing there listening. You had what? She asks. Her voice is softer. I'm a fast learner, I say, turning my head away. Soon I'll be able to doff quick as Delia. Using your left hand? When I wrote my letters for Miss Leslie, she made me switch hands. She said long as I wrote with my left hand, my words would lean the wrong way. With Miss Leslie, there's always a right way and a wrong way to do things. I told her she could tilt her head over to the side so my letters would look straight to her. I told her people in letters can't necessarily sit still or stand the way she wants them to. My right hand's in doffing school, I say smartly. Looks like her mouth starts to turn up a little, but she stops it just in time. At least you don't have to sit still anymore. I'm sure those frames keep you hopping. She snaps the book shut and hands it over my head to Arthur. Tomorrow, then? She says. I turn around just in time to see him nod. Then he's gone, ducked down the river path, and she's back inside the schoolroom with the door closed. I'm still standing there, but they both slid away with no extra sound. My legs start shaking something fierce. I sink down to the ground and sit there, my back against the wall of the school. Suddenly, the train is breathing down my neck again, and I shut my eyes to push the picture away. When I get home, my mare is angry that I've forgotten to go to the store, but I only half hear what she's saying. What are Arthur and Miss Leslie doing tomorrow, I wonder, later when I'm sewing up the rip in my snock. I'll read that last sentence again. I messed it up pretty good. What are Arthur and Miss Leslie doing tomorrow? I wonder later when I'm sewing up the rip in my smock. All right, that's probably a better way to end chapter 8. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed those 2 chapters of Counting on Grace. Make sure that you finish or answer the questions that I've provided for you, and don't forget to turn them in. Thank you very much.